Hey guys, what's up? I just wanted to do a kind of add another series to my channel besides just me uploading gotcha game stuff. But I what I like to do is I like to play a lot of like cheaper, maybe indie games that most people don't know about or maybe just haven't played yet, and I'll just make a quick review about them. Um, but I just want to preface this video and say that the video footage that I use for some of these playthroughs are going to be decently far into some of these games just because I want to showcase the full combat extent if the game has combat to these games instead of just showing you like a basic like tutorial type of deal where I have none of the cool weapons or anything like that. So just a preface, could be some spoilers. There is a cutscene that plays at the end of this that might be spoilers. So just skip that if you think you want to play the game after I finish talking about it. Um, but we are going to be talking about Evil West today. I think this game runs for $30, $35, could be 40 on Steam. I got it when it was on sale, so I only paid like 18 bucks for it or so. But I want to go over some of the pros and cons about this game, starting with the pros. There are a lot more pros than cons. I liked this game a lot. Um, First things first, if you look at the gameplay here, you'll notice that it is very reminiscent of the new. It reminds me of the new God of War, not how the old ones played, how the new ones played. Playing now that we're in Norse mythology, it very much reminds me of that. When you fight enemies, they drop health crystals that you can get to get health, energy crystals to recharge your energy, and stuff like that. There's also a fury meter, just like in God of War, to use like special abilities, stuff like that, to go into an enraged state, all that stuff. The combat in this game, personally, I thought it was very fluid, aside from a few hiccups here and there, and I'll get into that when we talk about the cons. Um, yeah, the combat flows very nicely. I had no issues dodging anything. Everything flowed great. I didn't have any weird like lag spikes or anything like that. I got stuck on a few things, but again, I'll talk about that. But other than that, aiming, shooting, dodging worked pretty well. Dodging enemy abilities, all the indicators were working fine. Um, the next thing I'm going to talk about is the weapon varieties. Now, when I started playing this game, when I saw a little bit of it, I thought we were going to have three weapons. I thought there were going to be three weapons in the game, but there's a whole bunch more. You get like I'm not even joking. You get like at least seven weapons in this game. I thought it was just going to be your gauntlets, the rifle, and the revolver, but you get a whole bunch of stuff that I don't want to spoil. Just in case I don't use them in this gameplay trailer. But you get a whole bunch of different weapons. The game has skill trees as well. Two skill trees, in fact, and they're very nice. They add decent upgrades to each of your abilities. So the two skill trees, one focuses on ability points. So every time you level up, there is a level system in the game. Every time you level up, you basically get an ability point, just like most other RPGs. And you can put that ability point into any of the skill trees that you're currently leveling up, and you get little buffs. In this game, besides your normal weapons, your long range weapons, and your close range weapons, um, your power in this game heavily focuses around electricity, and most of your ability upgrades are going to be for electricity, upgrading your electricity powers, while your other skill tree is going to be focusing on upgrading your weapons and your grenades and stuff like that to make them stronger, to make them do different things, have different effects, and that costs the currency in the game. So the money that you get in the game is going to be spent on one skill tree, and then your actual ability points for leveling up are spent on another skill tree. And I thought it was split very evenly, very well, and I never felt like I didn't get what I wanted. The game is meant to be played multiple times, so of course you won't get every upgrade in the first playthrough, but I got enough to where I enjoyed the game a lot, and that's what you're witnessing here in this little demo. Using all the weapons I had at my disposal and abilities. The story. Now, the story is, to be fair, it's a pretty generic, standard story. This game is about basically cowboys versus vampires. It takes place in the U.S. and you're basically the son of this guy who runs this company, this technology company that invented this gauntlet that they can use to fight the zombies. Finally, um, And yeah, it's pretty generic. A bunch of cliches in it. There's a whole bunch of cliches. I'm not going to ruin any of them, but it's a pretty standard story. Nothing special. It wasn't awful, but it wasn't really great either. It kind of reminded me like a movie I'd be watching on like Sci-Fi Network, to be honest. But again, not bad, not great. Um, there was a good enemy variety in this game. A lot of good bosses. I like the bosses a lot, especially closer to the end when the bosses got like when you got to the end game bosses, they got like their own special mechanics. Aside from the ones that the games give you tutorial for fighting like elite enemies and stuff like that. The mechanics are really good. The enemy variety is good. A lot of the bosses, early game bosses, become normal enemies later on, which is typical in these types of games. Um, but yeah, I never felt like I wasn't. I never felt like I was killing the same enemy over and over again. Big variety. It was very nice there. So yeah, I think that about covers it for the pros for this game. And then we're gonna move on to the cons now. I have very little cons. I thought this game was very good, especially for for the price, maybe not. Um, so my one big gripe with this game was that for the price, I think it's like 30, $40. The game's only roughly like 9, 10 hours long. I think it took me literally 10 hours on the dot to beat the game. So the game is very, very short. But again, it does have replayability. So if you're a guy who likes to replay games a bunch, you can replay this game at least 2 or 3 times. Because there are skins you can unlock in the game, which again, and none of this is paid for. You unlock these in the game. There are skins. Again, you can get the rest of those upgrades, ability upgrades, weapon upgrades, all that stuff. Get chests that you missed out of. Each section of the game is it's split into chapters, so you load into each chapter, and of course there is a certain amount of chests in each level and all that stuff, so you can go out and collect those if you missed any of those. So there's a bunch of collectibles in the game too. My second con is that while the dodging and enemies themselves and shooting and the reticles and all that were fine, one thing that was a bit clunky was the terrain. I did find myself getting stuck on the terrain in some of the swamp areas where there are a bunch of branches and stuff, and that was really annoying because it actually would cause me to take damage quite a bit while I was playing the game. So a little clunky on the terrain there. Again, it's kind of annoying. And then the last con I have actually has to do, even though I really like the two final bosses in this game, or the last two big bosses in the game, um, there were some instances where you would get indicators for hitboxes, and unless I was doing it wrong, I could have been doing it completely wrong, but I could not dodge some of these abilities. Like no matter what I did, which way I dodged, I felt it was literally impossible to dodge some of these abilities. I felt the hitboxes were not right. They didn't feel right, at least to me. Sometimes I would be out of the attack, I would still get hit, and sometimes I just completely couldn't get out of the attack, or I would get hit by it in ways I couldn't tell why I was getting hit by it. But that only happened twice. Only two instances that happened in the game, so that's another complaint that I have. But overall, I thought it was a very good game. If you're willing to spend the money on it, it's a fun game to play if you're bored. Again, replayability, all that. So I only put 10 hours into the game. That's just for one playthrough. You could easily play the game 2 or 3 times. Um, oh yeah, I'd rate this game. To be honest, I'd probably give it an 8.5, 8.5. Um, but yeah, that's gonna do it for this video, guys. If you like these game review videos, then let me know in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you enjoyed. And again, I'm trying to mix it up a bit. I don't mix it up a bit. I don't want to just dump a bunch of gotcha content, which I didn't used to do, but then I started doing because I got super invested in them. But I just wanted to add a little more variety to the channel. So let me guys know what you think, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.